Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. It has been a fair old while since we talked about an underrated Formula 1 driver, and yet there are so many. Even some who are writing their stories right now. Not Nicholas Latifi, but there may be other drivers on the current Formula 1 grid who could be considered underrated. But in this video we are going back to the 90s, when backwards baseball caps and shades were cool. We are looking at the life and career of Finnish former Formula 1 ace J Lehto. So remember to subscribe for more motorsport stuff, and let's begin. Jyrki Juhani Lehto, also known as J Lehto so you don't get a hernia every time you try and pronounce his name, was born in the Finnish city of Espoo. Apparently it was Keke Rosberg who suggested he should call himself J Lehto. Lehto started racing young, finding success in karting and beginning his car career at the young age of 15, moving on to Scandinavian Formula Ford, winning the Finnish Championship in 1986, which he followed up with the British and European Formula Ford crowns in 1987. In 1988, Lehto raced in the British Formula 3 Championship, taking 8 wins for Pacific Racing and winning the championship, beating such drivers as Damon Hill, Martin Donnelly and Eddie Irvine. He stayed with Pacific Racing in 1989, racing in the International F3000 series. Lehto found success in this series harder to come by, settling for a few points finishes. This was the team's first attempt at the International F3000 series, and it would be a couple of years before they found success. Despite J Lehto's success for the Pacific team, he never raced for them during their brief stay in Formula 1. Despite having a rough 1989, Lehto managed to score a Formula 1 driver that same year with the tiny Onyx team. This whilst also testing for Ferrari.
Which may well decide grid time for tomorrow. For Sunday, although we would expect tomorrow's times normally to be faster. And the time they're going for at the present moment is the fastest time that was put up in the pre-practice this morning. That was by Ayrton Senna in 1 minute 17.415 seconds. And you're looking now at J Lehto, the Finnish driver, who went round this morning 13th fastest. He pre-qualified yesterday, 4th fastest, and this is his first time at the Adelaide Circuit.
Whilst racing in the International F3000 series, Lehto tested for Ferrari. These were long, hard sessions running all day, doing multiple Grand Prix distances in a car with no power steering. Lehto impressed at Fiorano, breaking Nigel Mansell's lap record. He did not get to drive for Ferrari during his career, instead making his Formula 1 debut with the Onyx team at Estoril, Portugal. He failed to get out of pre-qualifying, but only missed out by a second, even after suspension problems hampered his progress. He made his first start in the Spanish Grand Prix but broke down after 20 laps. He failed to qualify at the next race, but made an appearance in the final round in Australia. Lehto ran as high as 5th before his Onyx, made from cardboard and sellotape, retired with waterlogged electronics. He returned with the team in 1990, now under new management, but the season was terrible as the team ran out of money and disbanded after the Hungarian Grand Prix, leaving Lehto without a drive for the rest of the year. In 1991 he signed for Scuderia Italia and got more opportunities to run higher up the field. The high point was managing to score a podium at a wet Imola. Getting to share the podium with Ayrton Senna and Gerhard Berger would turn out to be the high point of Lehto's career. Whilst the car was quicker than the Onyx, it was also very unreliable. Lehto started all 16 races in 1991, he only finished 5 of them. Outside of his third place at Imola, his best result was 8th place at Spain. He stayed with the team in 1992, but results were even worse. No points scored, although reliability was better. The year-old Ferrari engines proved more sturdy than the Judd engines used in 1991, but the chassis was terrible and handled like a dog on a frozen-over Finnish lake. Lehto left the team and joined the brand new Sauber team for 1993. Things were looking up. The car was decent and Lehto scored points at Kyalami and Imola. But he wouldn't score points with the team after this, and his relationship with Sauber soured after a collision with teammate Karl Wendlinger at Monaco. His season tailed off with just 5 points scored, actually his highest tally in Formula 1. In 1994 he got a dream drive with the high-flying Benetton team, but the dream turned into a nightmare after a testing crash left him with a broken neck, missing the start of the season. Things didn't go any better at his first start with the team at Imola. After qualifying 5th, he stalled on the grid and got ploughed into by a wayward Lotus. Lehto scored his final Formula 1 point at the Canadian Grand Prix, but with issues related to his neck and some disappointing performances, Benetton let him go. Lehto made his final 2 starts back with the Sauber team for the final 2 rounds, but no points scored, and that was the end of J Lehto's Formula 1 adventure. Sadly, it never really took off. But J Lehto did have success outside of Formula 1. During his F1 career, he made a couple of appearances in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, racing in private entered Porsches. In 1995, he won the 24-hour race in a McLaren alongside Yannick Dalmas and Masanori Sekaya. He monstered lap times in the rain. At times, he was 30 seconds a lap faster than everyone else. He would race for Opel Team Jost in the DTM and International Touring Car Championship, taking a podium in the latter, doing even better in 1996 when he finished 5th in the final International Touring Cars. He also took a win for McLaren in the Global GT Series. Even at this point, his sports car career was going a lot better than his Formula 1 career. In 1997, driving the Schnitzer McLaren, Lehto would take 4 wins and finish runner-up in the FIA GT Championship. In 1998, he raced in America in the kart series for Hogan Racing, although he found no success there. He moved full-time into sports car racing, specifically racing in the American Le Mans series, first with Schnitzer BMW, where he took 10 wins in the series between 1999 and 2001, finishing runner-up in the championship in 2001, although in the GT class instead of the prototypes. He raced for Cadillac in a forgettable 2002 campaign, finishing his full-time motorsport career with Audi, taking 13 American Le Mans Series wins between 2003 and 2005, and taking the championship in 2004 alongside Marco Werner. 2005 was his final year, and it was one of his best, winning the 12 Hours of Sebring and a second 24 Hours of Le Mans, this time with Tom Christensen and Marco Werner. Lehto made an appearance at the 24 Hours of Daytona in 2007 and a couple of rounds of Speed Car in 2008, after which he retired from motorsport for good. But that is not the end of J Lehto's story. Sadly, it is all downhill from here, up shit creek without a paddle, so to speak. In 2010, J Lehto was involved in a shocking incident when a boat accident led to the death of one of his friends. Lehto was arrested because he was drunk, admitting that he didn't remember very much because he had been drinking for several days. Initially, he was found guilty and sentenced to over 2 years in prison, but on appeal he was acquitted because there was a possibility that his friend was driving the boat at the time, although the police initially said they were certain Lehto was steering the boat when it hit a bridge. A strange incident nonetheless, and not something you'd expect to hear about a former Formula 1 driver, but since then Lehto has kept a very low profile and it's very difficult to find any information on what he is up to in 2022. He did an interview in 2017 where he said he was very hard to get hold of, and he's made appearances, mostly with his Le Mans winning McLaren. He's done commentary for Finnish TV and helped young Finnish drivers find their feet. J Lehto certainly didn't have the best time in Formula 1. Cars from Onyx and BMS Scuderia Italia were never going to be good enough to consistently do anything notable in, but a podium at Imola in the BMS, that's a damn good result. When he finally got his big chance with Benetton, fate would stand in his way and he was clearly not fit to race with his neck injury. He was a quick driver, well capable of winning, and he had a very successful career, from winning in Formula Ford and British Formula 3 to Le Mans and success in sports cars in America. J Lehto has a career he can proudly tell his kids about. He is a very underrated Formula 1 driver.
I mean, basically it's only one race comeback because we spoke about it with Mr. Strizek in Le Mans, and we said that, if there's a chance to do a test or whatever, later on this year, maybe we can get together. And of course I have been with Opel in the past as well. So then there was an opportunity to do a test. Test went well, so I came to the race. After a couple of days they made the decision that okay, I can do one race.
Thank you for watching. It's been a long while since I've done one of these, and it's nice to be back with something so familiar. If you enjoyed, leave a like and tell your friends. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, along with any suggestions for other episodes of Formula 1 Underrated. Episode 20 will probably come out when Formula 1 wraps up for 2022. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching, and have a good one.